Ever wondered whether a high-end fully automatic coffee machine is really worth the countertop space and price? Who will actually get the most out of the Kenmore model with grinder, milk frother, and auto tamper, and who should walk away? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. If you've ever stood in line for a latte and thought, I could make that at home if only I had the right gear, you're not alone. The hesitation usually comes from two places: the fear of a massive learning curve and the worry that the machine will end up gathering dust because it's too much work for a simple morning cup. That's the exact dilemma the Kenmore fully automatic coffee maker tries to solve. It promises a cafe-style menu at the push of a button, but the real question is whether that promise translates into everyday convenience for a typical household, not just for a coffee-obsessed barista. Let's start with the day-to-day reality of setting it up. Unpacking the unit reveals a sleek white body that fits nicely on a standard kitchen counter, but the footprint is definitely larger than a drip machine. If you have a tight kitchen or share counter space with appliances, you'll need to measure first. Installation is straightforward: plug it in, fill the water tank, add beans, and run the initial cleaning cycle. The machine walks you through these steps on a full-color touch display that feels more like a tablet than a coffee maker. The interface is intuitive enough that after a couple of minutes you'll know where the espresso button lives versus the cappuccino preset, but it does add a layer of digital interaction that some people find unnecessary for a simple brew. Who should consider buying this? If you're a family that drinks multiple coffee styles, say, a dad who swears by a strong espresso, a partner who loves a velvety latte, and kids who occasionally want a hot chocolate, this unit can actually replace a handful of separate machines. The integrated conical burr grinder is a standout because it grinds beans fresh for each drink, preserving the nuanced flavors that pre-ground coffee loses. For people who care about the taste difference between a fine espresso grind and a coarser drip setting, the ability to adjust grind size on the fly is a real win. The advanced milk frothing and steaming system also earns its keep if you regularly make milk-based drinks. The foam comes out silky rather than airy, which is something you usually only see in higher-priced commercial units. On the flip side, if you only ever make a plain black coffee once a day, the extra features become more of a burden than a benefit. The programmable settings let you save favorite recipes, but you still have to navigate the touchscreen to tweak the strength, temperature, and milk ratio each time you want something different. That can feel like a mini ritual you might not have time for on a rushed morning. For a single-person apartment where space is at a premium and the coffee habit is simple, a high-end drip machine or even a compact pod system would likely serve better. One of the most practical strengths of the Kenmore is its automatic cleaning and descaling routine. After you finish a batch, you can press a button and the machine runs a rinse-and-clean cycle that flushes out coffee oils and scales that would otherwise degrade flavor over time. In real-world use, this means you're not stuck manually scrubbing the brew group or worrying about mineral buildup after a few weeks. The downside is the cycle can take 1,520 minutes, so if you're in a hurry you might skip it and risk long-term performance. The machine does remind you when it's time to decale, but the reminder is a pop-up on the display that can be easy to ignore if you're busy. Another hidden trade-off is noise. The built-in grinder is powerful enough to crush beans quickly, but that also means it's louder than a typical drip grinder. In an open-plan living space, you'll notice a noticeable whir during the grinding phase. It's not deafening, but it can be startling first thing in the morning if you're not expecting it. If you're sensitive to kitchen noise, you might need to schedule your coffee prep a minute earlier to give the sound a buffer before the rest of the household wakes up. The 2-year support from Culitron Store is more than just a warranty. It includes access to a dedicated helpline that can walk you through troubleshooting steps if the machine throws an error code. In practice, that can save you a frustrating call to generic tech support, especially when dealing with a device that combines grinding, brewing, and frothing. However, the support is limited to 2 years, and after that you'll be on your own or have to pay for repairs. For a machine that costs a few $100s, that timeline aligns with the typical